I personally think that I should be seen or heard and not seen. It's a good, good foundation, but I'm not like the rock star of the band. That's the electric guitar job and the drums. So like I'll form a nice solid foundation and then listen to the different instruments and see what they're doing, see if what I'm playing is getting in the way of or complementing what they're doing. Because if you're starting to conflict with with everything else that's going on, it doesn't work. And so, I keep it simple. I didn't used to keep it simple, and it wasn't good. And the best thing you can do is record yourself during a live session and listen to yourself play. Because you will slap yourself in the face 9 times out of 10. I know I did. So yeah, as far as like what I'm doing, I stay out of the way. That like sometimes, they'll be like, oh, try this part. And I'm like, okay, I don't really know how it'll work, but unless the whole band does it, and the whole band typically does wind up doing things like it, dance with me. My nice epic bass part.
Ask how many people here have actually recorded on a CD as a bass player.
How many people have actually recorded a CD as a bass player? 1, 2, 3,
4, 5, 6.
For an actual album?
They put it on that.
Prove it.
Yeah, prove it. Can I see your discography? No, I'm kidding.
When did
Yeah, ask me a question.
When are bass lines appropriate? Both smooth jazz bass lines and Hillsong bass lines. Go.
Jazz?
Oh, that's tough.
Seinfeld.
Never Seinfeld bass lines in worship. Sorry. I love slap bass, and I wish I could do it. But
There's got to be a place.
there is a place, I'm sure, like, say you're in a gospel band.
Not on this
But
stage. Somewhere there
with
is.
the style of music that we do, it's like, I think I offended a sound guy once when we were in Atlanta, because he was like, yeah, you gonna slap it all? I was like, no. I was like, none? No. Just doesn't fit our style.
Offering.
You don't want to, because offering is a great time.
Yeah.
That is true. That is a great time. Jam session. We do a song that's like totally gospel blues called He Set Me Free.
And we all get red in the face because we're a little embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Or that one time we did the blues and I tore up on the saxophone. That was pretty awesome. And Ian walks off the stage half the time we do that. But
said that there is a great place for performance and for worship.
yeah, that's true.
That's it usually.
But so like flat bass I typically don't use because it doesn't fit the style. And also to me that's a big distraction.
Yep.
Like it's really hard for me to be out in a congregation worshiping when the bass player is doing all kinds of crazy, stupid things that would really get in the way.
Live versus CD.
Yeah, exactly. Live versus CD. Like you can get away with a lot, but there's still a limit. Smooth jazz though, go for it. No, I'm kidding. There's always an application to everything. You just have to use your common sense and not be like so overexcited that oh my god I can play this jazz, because it's really easy to do, especially live. So yeah.
It always goes back to there's a fine line between being assertive and playing with confidence and staying out of the way and not being a distraction. So for the rest of our lives, we're going to be hopefully we're riding that fence. We don't want to err on either one. And there's times when we are going to be a little too assertive and then we're going to be sitting back too much. But I think the goal would be to figure out that balance. You know what I'm saying? The last thing we want to do is say, there's no such thing as flat bass in worship, because that's not true, right? It's not true, but for whatever reason, right now in the style music that we're doing, it seems like it's a little bit of a, doesn't lend to the style that we're going after right now, our style. Your style, it might work, but I would caution you that for the sake of allowing all styles of music and worship, remember this one thing. Is God in it? Is it anointed? Is it moving people? Is it worshipful? Is it drawing people in? That's got to be the focus. Okay? So,
Because when that guy can create an expression on the bass, it makes
exactly. So there's, you know, anyways. So Brandon, I know with Brandon on the bass, because the bass is one of those instruments, and I always tell people, like, you gotta choose your, if you're gonna start an instrument early on, you've gotta think about what instrument you're gonna play, and you gotta think about, if you wanna be a lead guitar player in your heart, you probably don't wanna play keyboard or play bass. Because what ends up happening a lot of times, or a string instrument, or I call them a lead instrument, like violin, saxophone, whatever, because what ends up happening is this. Unless you're Kenny G and you're the main attraction, and you're soloing the entire song. But if you're gonna play in the real world, where there's actual songs with singing, and melodies and choruses, and you wanna be the showcase, you probably don't wanna pick those instruments. You probably wanna pick instruments, and I'm just being practical with you guys, you probably wanna play the drums, because you're gonna be playing the entire song. Or acoustic guitar, or rhythm, or electric. You understand what I'm saying? Or being a singer. But I've run into so many people that whether they're like a saxophone player, for instance, you run into a saxophone player that wants to be heard the whole time, they're not really going to fit. Same thing with singing. Silence is golden. So choose your instruments carefully. If you have a drive inside of you to be heard, bass player is a great example of someone who, like, it's like, if Brandon stopped playing during a song, you guys would hear it and you'd feel it. But while he's playing the song, most of you probably, honestly, you're probably not going, that's the sickest bass line I've ever heard. The bass is doing amazing today.
But it is.
But it is. Because he's the bass. That's right. But let me get, I'm not, and Brandon knows in this place, most of the time, we're listening to the lead vocals. Am I wrong? We're listening to the song. We're listening to, you know, the flashy electric guitar players always get the glory, don't they? But really, when the bass isn't there, man, it stinks.
Yeah.
So you got to know your place in the band. You guys want to?
Brandon, like in production line, when we're doing a song, and that oftentimes, like, I know, I think he like just forgot about this or something, but like when we're chatting about songs, Brandon all the time will totally like go, oh, right here I'm going to switch to quarters instead of eighths, and somehow that drives it more, even though it's slower. And right here, so he's like deliberately picking that. It's not just like, you know, it's soft, so I do whole notes, and it's big, so I do eighth notes. Like especially when recording and arranging, he's very deliberate. And so there's that dynamic parts, and like in the bass line thing I was talking about, what I was hoping, what I was going for was like, is we're very deliberate with it. It's not like Brandon all of a sudden spontaneously like ripped this sweet bass line. It's like, you know, we all get an idea, Brandon gets an idea, and we rehearse it, and he goes like, dude, in this bridge on the second half of Happy Day, on the Jesus Culture recording, like we all went, do it like a Hillsong bass line thing, that'll be awesome. And so he does, and it worked well, but it wasn't like, you know, Brandon, I don't think Brandon hardly ever goes like, I'm going to go and rip into like a bass solo now. That's just not how he approaches it. It's deliberate.
We were in the call Nashville one time, Nash stage, and we were on the stage and we were up after Misty, and who is amazing, and we're up on the stage, and the bass comes out, here it comes, and on that bass line itself, the entire stadium was like, so when done correctly, there is such an anointing and a power on what a bass player does. Is it always forefront? No. But that song right there absolutely killed everything that we say about, you know, if it's heard, it's bad. So don't take it as an example, but definitely there is the two. That bass line comes out and you're just done with that bass line.
Same song. Yep, same idea. Exact same.
Yeah.